Good evening, everyone, and welcome to TMA Sunday Night Live. As always, with one of your hosts, the Pidge. I'm joined by Mrs. Non-League, the legend that is Moobdeanio, Even Moves. We've got all the rest of our legends, gentlemen of the game. No need pretty much for an introduction. Ex-Tottenham, but 76 appearances for Watford, 12 goals. All obviously Northern Ireland legend. Ladies and gentlemen, Gerry Armstrong. So good evening, Gerry. Thank you ever so much for coming on, mate. It's an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure.
Once again. Okay, so as ever, we're sponsored by Sweets for All. Get down to see Lord Sereno, aka Morpheus, for your sweet desires. A quick, fast and friendly delivery from sweetsforall.co.uk. Right, okay, so as always, like I say, plenty to talk about. Yesterday's game, obviously high on the agenda, the draw at the Vic, but we'll start a bit of a legendary theme to start off this show today. So Gerry, like I say, for the 40th time already, welcome once again to TMA. We had you on a pre-record on Zoom, of all things, a few months ago, one of our first ever Legends pods on stream, and we really wanted to get you live, Gerry, and obviously once again hello to Deborah as well. You know, so we say the brains, also the brains behind your Thursday night, shall we say, every week, and yeah. So, have you been sort of taking stock of how Watford been going on this season?
Yeah, I always followed Watford's results. Even when I was playing for Real Mallorca, I always followed their results every week. And disappointed to see we conceded a very late goal in the 1-1 draw. But Bournemouth seem to be one of the top teams, and they're going to be difficult to beat this year. So a point's not a bad result, but we could have had all three.
Yeah. Exactly. Moves, what did you make of it? I know me and Ray, a full-time fan report yesterday, we dissected it as much as we could. But what did you make of it?
Well, unfortunately, I had to watch some highlights because I was stuck at work till 2 o'clock, so I missed the bloody match. Thanks to Sky for shifting the time. I called it last week. I said I'd be happy if we got a point, but I'm pissed off that we only got a point because we should have had all three.
Yeah.
I'm dismayed with Bournemouth. The dirtiness of them yesterday is a disgrace. I'm sorry, but those challenges are just. It was almost on par with Jordan Pickford. You know, I'm seriously not impressed with that. And the guy shouldn't have stayed on the pitch. He should have walked. I don't care what minute it is. If you do a challenge like that, you've got to go. It's as simple as that. You don't crash into someone's knee with studs up. You can break the blinking leg.
Yeah.
But on another note, we still came out of a point which is points better than nothing these days. Long way to go still. I was a bit surprised with the team selection, but I understood why he done it. You know, you don't want to suddenly become too predictable in this league. So freshening it up a bit was probably the best thing he could have done. And Persica, I thought, from the clips I've seen, looked like he played really well. I'm just a little bit worried that he's done his hamstring or something from what's being said. I'm sort of hoping that's not the case.
I think it's this shoulder. I think he's done his shoulder in. I think
his shoulder.
Oh, is it his shoulder? Is it? Oh, it's the new centre back. Oh, it's the new centre back then that's done something to his hamstring.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, like I say, happy with a point, but I would have been delighted if we could have hung on for 1-0 and nicked all 3 off them, because I think that would have wound them up even more. But yeah, lots of, it's been a good week for us. 2 wins. If you include Derby in that, Derby away, a win, come back to the Vic, get 4 points from that. God, happy days. 7 points from 3 games. That's perfect for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ray.
Yeah, I think we've done very well. I mean, yesterday was, I think it's one of those games where we counteracted their situation. We scored a goal early, 12 minutes, and it was a good goal. And we Parika, and I think we should have scored a second. I think Quinn had a couple of chances before they scored their goal in injury time. I believe that we didn't bury them, but they had the chance in 95 minutes and they took it. So I'm quite happy with the fact that we played well. We've improved since the Derby game, and we go into the game against Wickham on Tuesday night with a bit of. I think we've got a chance to win about 3 or 4-0 on Tuesday night. That's my way of thinking, but you just never know. They're desperate for points. There's 7 games, no wins. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, well, as always, this is made by the fans for the fans. We've got Michael Woody on YouTube land. He says, "Hi Gerry, if you've not been suspended from Gaelic football, would you ever play soccer?"
That's a big question, Michael. I'm not sure about that. I was always a sportsman. I always liked training and playing football, but my sports were hurling and Gaelic football. And I did play a bit of soccer in the street, played for one of the smaller teams when I was about 16. I played as a centre forward in the Down and Connor League for a team called St Paul Swifts, and I managed to score 35 goals that season. So that was my first real season in football. But I always love sport. I love being a competitor. And it's a good question. I don't know. I think things happen. Fate happens for a reason. And I was suspended, obviously, for 4 weeks from the Gaelic. I took up soccer. I got sent off for 15 minutes. I got sent off in the centre half. So, I mean, it's like you learn. It took me 2 or 3 years to learn the rules of soccer before I was transferred in 1970.
What is Gaelic football like? Because I mean, I've got a couple of Irish mates that have popped over and they've always sort of tried to. I still can't get it, but experienced it. What is
for the crossbar? You get 1 point. It was a very physical sport.
Boys?
But have to stick to the soccer, playing Gaelic football. It just wasn't on. I do know that in those days, Alex Ferguson had already agreed to sign Kevin Moran. He had him over on trial, and then he went and watched Kevin Croke Park, but when he was already signed as a Man United player. So that's quite unique in itself, and that's something you won't see ever happen.
I've got Woody's coming with a question, Gerry, for you. He says, "What was your?"
Very much. This guy won me over. I mean, to come and play for Watford, and he was so. And he already had it all planned out, how I was going to come and where I was going to play the football. And great, 100%. And probably the best manager I played under. And I know Billy Bingham was a fabulous manager international level-wise, but at league level, I don't think there was a better manager than Graham Taylor. And he taught me an awful lot. Even after I left Spurs and came to Watford, I learned an awful lot. And sometimes you have to go back a stage to actually move forward a couple of stages. So I learned a lot from Graham, and I'm always grateful for that.
We've got Kevin by the way. Kevin Lewis said, Gerry, let me know when you're in St Albans Irish pub. I want to buy you a pint or two as well.
Yeah, the Irish bar's a good spot in St Albans. It's a great spot. My brother runs that, my brother Kevin, and it's a great spot. I've always had some fantastic times. I lived in St Albans for many years, as you know, and I've still got a lot of family living over there. So, it's got good memories for me.
Yeah, I can agree. St Albans is a fantastic night out. Honestly, I can agree. Not that I've staggered out of any clubs or anything like that. Honestly, I promise you. Just the occasional one.
Watford Woody's come back. He said, was it good that you and Pat joined Watford at the same time?
Pat Rice, yes. Pat was an international colleague of mine, and he left Arsenal. Pat was a little bit older than me, obviously, and he left Arsenal. He had won everything and did the lot. Brought fantastic experience to Watford and leadership qualities that Graham Taylor wanted. And myself, Pat, and Les Taylor all signed at the same time. And I was listening to Les on the other day on a little bit of an app that Luther had on. Luther's formed a players sort of organisation for the players, and it was something Graham Taylor wanted. And I have to get back to Luther. I haven't spoke to him for 2 or 3 weeks. I've had a few wee problems. My sister-in-law was moving house a couple of weekends ago, and I was supposed to get in touch with Luther on the Friday night and end up moving furniture for most of Friday night and Saturday. But I'll get back to Luther and catch up ahead. But it's great that they've got that organisation going, and there's so many great people involved in it. Steve Sherwood was on talking, John McClellan was on talking, all ex-Watford players, and it'll be great getting in touch with them once again.
Too right.
Definitely.
Right, awkward silence. You go.
Sorry.
Go on then, guys. You two go, and then I'll start coming up with questions. You guys take the floor.
I've been campaigning for this for a while now, and I know that Neil Price initially in 2008 put in the stuff regarding a legendary stuff for the club, which I think is fantastic. Luther's actually emphasised that now, and with Rita Taylor's backing, we have support for the club regarding legends, and fans can relate to it, and I think that's fantastic. So we need to move that forward, and I believe that it should have been done years ago. I think Pozos have actually not related to it, and they're wrongdoing, but we need to deal with it our own way. And thank you, Luther, for what you've done, and Neil Price as well. So
yeah, Neil, I have to say, my last 2 or 3 visits to Watford have all been organised by Neil Price, and he's top man.
Fantastic.
He's done so much for all the players, and he deserves a lot of credit for trying to keep everybody involved. And again, Luther has rallied the players together, and between them, they've got. I mean, I haven't seen Jan Lohman for a long time. Saw him on the other week. He was on talking on the show, and it's great. Tony Coton. I mean, hearing Tony I used to meet up in New York. That was the last time I got to see him, when we used to go out for a drink, and that was quite a session, I have to tell you.
Definitely, yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, Moobs.
Yeah, no, that's good. I've got a question. Been racking my brains. Gerry, what do you think of the current manager and the signings that we were able to make during the window? Do you think it was a decent window for us?
I think only time will tell that. We had some good players, but when you get relegated, you're going to lose players. And I see a lot of the players that we had and we signed and have sold off to the likes of Everton, who are having a great season. You have to look at that, and it's from a financial point of view. I understand these things have to be done, but the new signings, we'll find out in the next 6 months if they're good signings. I just think Watford's squad at the moment is telling me that they're good enough to be in the top 5 or 6, which means you're going to be in the frame. The championship only takes off for me in February, March. And if you're in the top 6 or 7 there in February or March, and you have a strong squad and they've evolved, and there's a togetherness and a team or coordination, then you can see if they're going to be at the final, because there's so many teams fall by the wayside. Look what happened to Brentford last week, and then Brentford ended up going 3-0 down yesterday away to Stoke, and came back to lose 3-2. Brentford would have been one of the favourites for me. Sheffield Wednesday, another good side, but Sheffield Wednesday, you know, they were deducted 12 points, so they're on -4 or whatever it is at the moment. But they're still the teams that surprised me at the moment are Reading. Didn't think Reading would have been the side that's sitting without being defeated this season. What is it? Five wins and 1 draw, and they're sitting at the top of the table. So you'll always get surprises, but I think over the period, and it's another strange season. This season is going to be strange because no supporters, which home advantage doesn't really mean that much anymore. So no supporters, and I think all of that is going to tell you that it's going to be a very strange and unusual championship. So Watford definitely should be in the top 6 or 7 for me going into March. And then when you get the Easter program and you've got so many games coming thick and fast, that's when the consistency has to be there and the quality, and we'll find out if Watford's good enough. So keep my fingers crossed we're going to go back up again.
Watford has come in and said, did you ever call Graham by his name after you row, or about to be called boss or gaffer?
I tried to call him boss, and it was something that became difficult to me. It was very difficult, but it was something that Steve Harrison and the guys loved. Luther and the boys, whenever I said Graham in the meetings, and the guys used to smile and put their heads down and think he's going to blow a gasket here, you know. But it was something that I got used to. It took me maybe 6 or 8 weeks to get used to that. But no, I try to keep the rules after that until I've actually left the club. But then I kept in touch with Graham and we became good friends. And I spoke to Graham if I needed advice, you know, when I was moving on to become a coach. I spoke to Graham and he gave me good advice. So I try to keep in touch with him right after I packed in playing football.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put another one. Gerry, just going back to like the current squad and that. How do you think the situation with Capoue panned out? Because he was adamant he was going to leave, and then like no one, he's ended up staying. Do you think that is a little blessing in disguise for us, that you know you could technically class it as a new signing, but even though he didn't go?
Sorry, I didn't hear who you're talking about. That's the first part of that.
Etienne Capoue.
Right.
The
yeah, no, good player, and it could turn out a blessing in disguise again, because it means that the Watford squad is stronger. And as I say, when you're getting into the second half of the season, and if they're still in the top 5 or 6 or 7, and you know they're going to have a good run, and that's what you have to do. I mean, I don't know too much about the manager. I know what he's done with different leagues. The Championship is such a difficult league to get out of. So again, it's toss of a coin and hope that it lands the way we want it to land. But there's no guarantees in football, not at all, and definitely not in the Championship. There's no guarantees.
Brilliant.
Go on, Ray. You say yours, mate. You go.
Gerry, your first goal was against Everton back in 1982, 81-82. How did you feel about that, being the first goal scorer in the top league?
It was a good time for me, to be honest, because I'd just come back from the World Cup and had a really good World Cup. Wasn't sure I was going to start the season in the team. We had a good squad of players. We ended up having a bit of an injury in midfield, and Luther dropped into midfield, and I played up front with Ross Jenkins, and it worked out really well, because normally I would have been the target man playing off Luther, and Luther would have been picking up bits and pieces from me. But that day, Big Ross was the target man, and I played off him, and it worked out really well, because he was a handful, and he was a big, tall lad, but he had great touch on the ball, and he had great presence around in that centre forward position. So I got on the end of a knockdown and was first to the rebound. But I was in good form at the time. I just scored 3 goals in the World Cup, and my confidence was very high. So being picked for Watford in our first game in the top flight football was obviously something that I was very pleased about, and I was happy enough to stick it in the back of the net when it came my way. But then Pat Rice scored his only goal for Watford that day, which was a little bit more dramatic. And I remember the shot come cross, and he caught the ball, Neville, and stepped back over the line. And he swears to this day he never crossed the line. But that's all.
He went across the line.
We beat them 2-0.
It was across the line. I can tell you now. It was across the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no. So you played for obviously had your 3-year spell at Watford. What I know we touched upon this last time, but how did the move to Real Mallorca come about around 1983?
Well, I mean, about a month and a half, 2 months after the season had started, just after it scored that goal for Watford against Everton, and it scored a couple of goals. We'd started the season off really well. I think we were top of the league after, 4, 5, 6 games, and we had a really good start. And I jumped for a ball and landed awkwardly and went over and broke my ankle, my leg. So I was injured for best part of 10 weeks, 11 weeks. So that was me out, and I was gutted at the time because I'd got myself fit and confident. I was looking forward to having a good season with Watford. But it makes you think after that when you're injured, and it took me back. And basically then when I got fit again after the new year, it was probably February or March before I was actually back into the team again. I started thinking about my career, and I was obviously 29 then, and I was thinking, right, I'm not going to play much beyond I'm 31, 32. That's what a lot of people felt at that time. Your career was over at 31, 32, and I was worried about what was going to happen, what I was going to do after I finished football, which is something that all professional footballers think about. But I got this opportunity because I got contacted by an agent who had gone to Watford and said they were interested in signing me because of the World Cup it had. And it was from Real Mallorca. And I just said, well, look, I'll speak to them. But I wasn't convinced I was going to sign them. But when I spoke to them, I thought it's an opportunity to go and try, which not too many players were going abroad at the time. And certainly not to Spain. But at the same time, I was talking to Spain. Luther was going to Italy. And it sort of coincided. The two of us were leaving at the same time. And as a result of that, we both left, and Graham went looking for George Riley, and Mo Johnson came to replace the two of us. So it was part of a process. When one player leaves, another one comes in. And I wanted to try or have an opportunity to try myself out in Spain. And I enjoyed the World Cup, and I thought it might work out. And going to an island like Mallorca, which is beautiful, I thought, well, I can't go wrong. So I signed a 2-year contract to go out there. Eddie Plumley went out with me, and I signed in Palma that summer and came back just in time for Elton's party to say cheerio to the lads. I went to Elton's house and said cheerio to the lads on the Sunday. And it was quite moving, but it was an opportunity for me to then go to a different league and find out what the Spanish league was all about. And it was totally different then. And that, as a result, led to me doing 23, 24 years on Spanish La Liga with Sky Sports.
Yeah, definitely. And we said last time you would have, as me personally, I mean, okay, I got brought up on the stories of the Watford legends, but I knew you primarily, and I said this last time we did the pre-record, as the voice of Spanish football. I knew you were a Watford legend, but that was a lot of people of a certain generation knew you as the voice of Spanish football. So it wasn't a bad introduction.
Well, I was lucky at the time because I wasn't actually working for Sky, and it was only through George Best, who's a friend of mine, and George had been speaking to this guy, and George had asked me to play in a 5-a-side tournament. Well, not tournament, it was just a one-off game at Battersea Park on a Sunday. And I went down to play there. And then last minute, George cried off and said he couldn't make it. I had to get Kenny Sampson and a couple of the boys to join me to do this video for Channel 5. And when I was there, the producer came up afterwards, and I'd said about small-sided games, you get more touches on the ball, it's better for you, and it's easy done. There's not as many players needed, but you get more touches on the ball and you can improve your skill. And that's something that they did in Spain. And he said, talking on Spain, he said, George Best had told me that you played out in Spain. And I said, I did. And he said, well, I've been asked by Sky to go and work for them next week on Spanish La Liga. If you're free, would you like to come in as a guest? And I said, yeah, no problem. So that is how that started, through George inviting me and putting me in touch with this guy. And 23 years later, I finished. Obviously, I finished, but I went in to do analysing and talking about the Spanish game from what I knew, and I speak a bit of Spanish, obviously, as well. So I was able to explain that, and then the producers and directors that I worked with at Sky, used my knowledge, and then they started using me more as a co-commentator. And so I could do the analysis, but could also co-commentate as well. So it gave me a couple of opportunities, and then they started doing it on a Saturday and a Sunday. So as a result of that, I was on all the time, and I became the voice of La Liga.
Yeah, I'll throw this one out to you, Moobs, as well, and Gerry and Ray also. But going back onto, and also fantastic story, Gerry, by the way. But going back onto sort of generally how the season's been going on, Moose. He says we need Sonia's come on. Evening, Sonia. Thank you very much for your input. Fantastic question. She's put on. We need some decent goal scorers. I think when Gray is fit, he may excel in this championship. What do you reckon, Moobdeanio?
This is a tough one. It's a tough one because right now I think at the moment we're still trying to find our feet with the forward line. We've still it was highlighted yesterday on Sky. We've still got Deeney, Gray, and Hughes to bed back into this team, which brings a load of goals. I think even Andre Gray. I agree with Sonia. I think Gray could take this league by storm and really get his confidence back. I don't think we need to panic too much because at the minute we've had players chipping in. We've got Pedro that's got 3 goals already. Cathcart's got 1. Cleverly's chipped in now. Persic has got off the mark, which I think is fantastic. There is loads of goals in this team. They've just, they're just taking their time finding their feet. But once they all click together, Jesus blinking Christ, I'm going to be absolutely petrified because we could end up with tennis scores. Probably like 6-0 or 7-1 or something like that.
I hope you're right.
But yeah, I think at the minute we're sort of getting away with it, and like what Gerry's referred to before, it will be into the new year that we'll need everyone. So this is a little bit of trial and error because you can literally play with what you've got, still scrape a win, still scrape a decent performance together, but knowing you've still got a stack load of players who are good enough for this league to come back and bed back in and cause absolute chaos. Yeah. So I'm not too concerned at the minute. I would have only be concerned if we hadn't have been scoring.
Yeah.
That would have been my only concern.
The top strikers, you're right. The top strikers still haven't really played yet. I mean, and the experience as well. You look at Troy Deeney's experience and his leadership qualities. You add the goals that Andre Gray can bring to the table, and they should be good. That's what I'm saying. All things being equal, as long as we don't get too many injuries to the key players at the wrong time, and you have the consistency coming across. But the manager's still trying to find out what his best team is, and how he's going to shape them and how he's going to play them. So that's what I was making the point earlier. So as I say, by January, February, March, he will know his best side. I'm still pretty convinced that Watford's going to be in the top 6 or 7 then, which means they're going to be going for the top 2 spots, and hopefully they'll be in there. But as I say, I'm surprised at the start that I've seen from Reading. It's unbelievable. You look at Brentford, mid-table Brentford, who were the team that finished so strongly last year and didn't go up. So things can change really quickly in the championship. It's a really tough league to get out of.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt, it's the hardest league I think it's in the whole world to get out of. I think people have been referring to it over the last few years. But yeah, Reading are the biggest at the moment. Reading are the biggest surprise package because if you go back to last season, the way they were playing and where they finished in the table, you would not have expected this from them this season. So for them to now be up there, it's a case of can they maintain it? 50-50 on that one because I'm not sure they can. They'll hit a blip at some point and then they'll fall away. But at the moment, there's still some teams that are in that league that are in the wrong place in the table. So there's so many more twists and turns. We just cannot take anything for granted. It's going to be every week something will crop up.
Right. Okay. What I will say is this: I think we got to concentrate on what we do and not worry about what Reading do or anybody else does. And that says compliment to everybody else that's doing their stuff. The manager, the captain, back four, midfield, and then the attack. We need to be behind them. And we need to make sure that we get concrete results. I think Saturday's result was a bit of a mixture. We didn't finish them off. We needed to do it. We had a couple of chances at the end with Queener. But Tuesday night, I really think that's our chance to cement things. If we put Dean in the side, and we got Hughes back, I don't know whether we will have him back or not. If we have Dean in the side, Pedro, I honestly think, well, if we're 2-0 up at half time, we're going on with it about 3 or 4-0. But Wickham are desperate, and they will be fighting every inch of the way over the next game. And then we got Barnsley away on Saturday. So we need to take the performance from Bournemouth into the game on Tuesday night. Yes, we failed because of the last minute equaliser. It's one of those things. But we didn't play badly. If there was criticism, it's got to be the fact that we conceded the way we did. But the fact is the defence played really well. And even the commentators said that we were good and strong. Yeah. And we have got the best defence in the Championship. We need to move on from that now and prove to people we can do it. We've got injuries coming back. Let's deal with it.
Yeah. Do what? Yeah, definitely.
I think the other thing, like you look ahead to Tuesday night, it's sort of the perfect game where you'd probably say you bring back some of the pacier players. Like you say to João Pedro, right, you're going to start up front. And maybe you turn around to Garner and Queener and say, right, you're going to drop into the midfield. Because, I know Wickham have got like the old bulldog spirit of, with Gareth Ainsworth in charge, who's done a fantastic job, with what he's got. But I just think with the pace in the team at the minute, if they get it right, they could just run Wickham ragged. And I don't think Wickham will just know what to do with it. I think personally they'll be petrified. I think if we score early, I just fear it could be like floodgates.
Yeah.
So, but we'll have to wait and see what happens on Tuesday. But I think the one thing Wickham will be buoyed by is the fact that they took Norwich to the 91st minute before conceding, which was painful to watch because I watched it on Soccer Saturday, and watching that free kick go in by Norwich I felt for them. I really did. But I just think, we'll have more than enough in the locker to just bash past them. And I think if you play Sarr as well, I think the geezer's going to be in knots down that left wing. I think he's going to be probably be on the floor more times.
Yeah. Gerry, how do you think it's going to play out Tuesday night?
I fancy us big time, and I do. I think we're a better team. But it's not about whether you're a better team. That's what one of the things in this league's all about. It's about whether you turn up and the attitude, and if you're focused and you don't do something silly in the first 5 or 10 minutes. Player getting sent off in the first 5 or 10 minutes just changes the game completely. So all things being equal, we are one of the best squads in the league, and we should be up there. But then I've listed you 6, 7, 8 other teams that should be up there, but they're not. So that's one of the problems you've got. I know we have a squad. What's the fitness level like for Andre Gray and Troy Deeney? I mean, how close are they to being fit to play in the next couple of weeks?
I think Troy's close, isn't he?
Yeah, I think.
Right. Well, then that could be a big plus then if you stick him straight in. That experience coming in. I know he doesn't have, obviously, match play yet, but you need to get him in as soon as possible, get him in playing and use the experience. And he's a goal scorer, he's a target man, and he can lead the line perfectly, as I said earlier. But Andre Gray is another one who's pace and he scores goals. He's got goals written all over him, and he could take the league by storm as long as he's fit and as long as he doesn't get injuries. And I made that point as well. All things being equal, Watford should be up there in the top 5 or 6 for most of the season. But it's got to be, you've got to be consistent, and it's consistency. I don't think there's many teams have a better squad than Watford in that league. I've already said, look at Reading, 6 games, 5 wins and a draw. Flying at the moment. And I already listed Sheffield Wednesday's not a bad side. They've won 2 and drawn 2, and yet they're -4 at the moment. I've looked at Brentford. You look at Norwich again at the weekend. Norwich were struggling until the last couple of minutes. They were behind. But you just need a bit of luck. You always need a bit of luck in this game. And I still have the confidence that we should beat Wycombe on Tuesday night. I have no problems with
that. Yeah, definitely.
I think the thing with Gray returning, I think on Wednesday night, the commentator on the game, because I was watching it on the Sky Red button, he actually said that Gray put a message out saying, "Not too far away, guys. I'll see you all soon," which makes me believe that if the likes of Gray, Hughes, and Deeney don't, because I know we've got an international break coming, if they don't get back by the international break, you can pretty much have them nailed on that they'll be back straight afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering maybe if they're not panicking because they're looking at the league position going, well, we're doing all right at the minute. So technically we haven't got to rush them back. We can, they can take the time. They can build up their fitness even more. And then when it comes to it, right, now you're getting unleashed.
Yeah,
and I've got a sneaky feeling that's what they'll do. But yeah, if we don't see them by, I think.
Well, they don't. If they're not playing next week, then the following week is the international break. That's when it starts.
Yeah.
4th, 5th of November. So it'll be in the 3rd week. 3 weeks later, they'll be back, and it gives them a little bit longer. But you still need match fitness. That's the key as well. It's not just about being able to fit to go on and play. You might need 20 minutes. Look at Gareth Bale coming back for Tottenham. He's going to need more time. He needs time. Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree with you there, Gerry. Totally agree. But yeah, that's my take on it. If we don't see them on Saturday, guaranteed that they'll be back straight after the internationals.
Okay.
Ray, do you want to shout anything out, mate? We're going up to Moob's News very shortly. So, anything else to add?
I would say that. I reckon Dean will be ready for Tuesday. He'll be around either subs bench or in the mix. And I think if he was in the mix, I'd play him up with Pedro. Obviously, we've got the problem demise with the striker that scored on Saturday. And unfortunately, he's injured. So I think Pedro and Deeney on Tuesday. And then on Saturday, I just think there's 2 games there for the taking. We should win at Wycombe, and on Saturday, Barnsley are down the bottom. They haven't won a game, and it's always a difficult place to go. I reckon a 2-1 at Barnsley and a 4-0 or 3-0 at Wycombe. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Okay, pretty solid. Right, we're going to go up to Moob's News. Just before we do, Gerry, thank you ever so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
Yeah, love to you and Deborah. Thank you very much. You've got a show coming up next week, or up and coming next 2 weeks?
We have a show next week. Last week was we do different types of shows. Sometimes we might have an actor on or a sports person on. I was trying to get Johnny Ray on this week, but he's just come back after winning his 6th Superbike World Championship, 6 in a row, which I don't think anybody ever beat. So I'm trying to get him on next week. I'd love to get him on. He'd be very topical. He's very popular from County Antrim, he is, and I'd love to have him on. But I'll work it out tomorrow who's going to be our guest on Thursday. And we're in a lockdown as well over here situation. The Southern Ireland's locked down for 6 weeks. And Northern Ireland's in their 4-week lockdown. We've got 3 weeks of it still to go, and it might extend into Christmas. Who knows? But we're taking every day as it comes. But we're still fighting fit, and we don't give up over here.
Yeah, what time is it Thursdays for the people who haven't watched it? Because I've watched a few of them, and they're different every single time. There's something fresh every single time they're on. When are they on?
Darren Clark's a friend of mine, so he's in America, and I want to do an interview with Darren on a Zoom call. But the time difference is obviously it's something that we work on. We have musicians on. We have different musicians coming on, and if I ever get Elton John on, I'll let everybody know. Don't worry about that. No problem. But we have different people, and there's the sports person. I'm hoping to be Johnny Ray next week, but I'm waiting for his PR girl to come back to me. Joanne's going to come back to me on that one. But I usually put out a post on a Monday or a Tuesday to say who our guests are going to be.
Brilliant. What time is it? About 8:30, is it?
8 o'clock every Thursday night. I've had Luther on, I've had Barnesy on, I've had Ozzy Ardiles, I've had Pat Jennings, I've had Graham Souness, I've had loads and loads of football people on, and I've done loads of stuff with them all. They're all good guys. John McClellan was on it for me. So was Jimmy Nichols, Sammy McElroy, most of my international teammates, Martin O'Neill. But I've had a lot of different footballers, and I've had singers on and actors. Jimmy Nesbitt was on about 3 weeks ago. He was very good. He's a good friend of mine. He's very funny. And, I had him on. And I've had actresses like Brona Waugh. She was on. And Brona Gallagher. I'm trying to get Brona Waugh. Brona Gallagher was on. She was really funny. But they're all sports people. They all love their football and they love their sport. And it's just to put a bit of amusement in front of people for an hour and get them to chill out and enjoy themselves. That's what it's all about, putting smiles on people's faces.
Yeah, I watched the Pat Jennings. It's absolutely amazing that. Sorry, Ray, go on, you go.
Gerry, you do a fantastic job over there in Ireland, and I know that what you're doing for the community and the people is absolutely outstanding. And I've watched a few of your shows. I'm sorry I haven't been in touch the last few weeks because obviously I've had commitments elsewhere, but you do an amazing job, and Debbie is absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
you've got some outstanding lady there.
She comes up with the ideas, and she does all the birthdays and the hellos to people, and just cheers people up, But I have to say, it's something we really enjoy.
Well, you're fantastic, mate. You really are.
Just before you go, mate, Watford Woody says, from all the fans my age, we love you, Gerry. So,
yeah, we do.
Good memories. Always had good memories in Watford, Vicarage Road.
Thank you. It's been an absolute honour, as always, having you on, Gerry.
Cheers. Thank you. All the best. God bless.
Thank you, Gerry. Cheers,
Gerry.
Right. Okay. So let's get this party started with shall we say a certain news program, shall we say?
News.
Hey, it's that favourite time of the week, people. Have you still not got that recording I sent you put on that yet?
No, I need to send it for a different thing, mate. But knowing me, Pidge knowing you moves. So, you can't go wrong with Pidge.
Exactly, you certainly can't.
Yeah, off you go. No, sorry, mate. Off you go, mate. I'll take them off.
Yeah, no worries. Right, well, another interesting week in non-league. Never a dull moment in non-league. You've got to remember that. It's one of the best things you can go to right now. Unless you're like a Hemel fan like me, we still can't get in. Let us in, Boris. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
Fed up with it.
Definitely.
We are fed up with it. And I'm just going to say, because I will get onto this shortly, but I just want to say a little well done yesterday to the Hemel Town fans who went and put a banner up over the stadium. They didn't fly it by a plane. They actually stood there with it for about 90 minutes. I hope their arms didn't fall off. But it said, please let the fans back in. Hashtag, I can't remember what hashtag was, but it was just basically a little statement being sent. Enough's enough now. Come on. We want to get back in. There is no reason why you should keep doing this to us. enough of that rant. So, anyways, another busy weekend in non-league. It is all systems go now. They are all back up and running. Everyone's playing. Unfortunately, I am going to touch on one thing. There was one FA Cup game that was unfortunately called off yesterday because of COVID. That was between Kings Lynn and Notts County. So Kings Lynn go straight into the first round proper. What a payday that is for them. And my coffee's not COVID related either. So, anyways, with the FA Cup, I did mention Hemel. Fourth qualifying round yesterday, and unfortunately, it is where the Tudors bowed out because they went down 1-0 at home to Hampton and Richmond. Gut wrenching that, because I was really hoping they were going to get all the way to the first round proper again, because it'd have been a great money spinner. But good luck to Hampton in the first round proper. I hope you do get a good tie and you're able to get some money in. Also in the fourth qualifying round yesterday, Bournemouth, they qualified for the first round proper. They won 2-0 at home to Wimborne Town. I'll get the words right in a minute. And also Barnet got through, winning 3-0 away at Liston. Don't know where that is, so if anyone's got a map out, feel free to let me know whereabouts that is, because I've not got a clue. Elsewhere in the Southern Prem Central, which this season is called, wait for it, the Pitching In Southern League. That's right, you did not mishear me. It is called the Pitching In Southern League. I do hope everyone pitches in at some point. There you go, joke for the week. Kings Langley kept up their unbeaten start to the season. They drew 1-1 away at Rushall Athletic, battling back from a goal down to nick a point. Fantastic for those boys. They continue on the march up that table as well. And don't tell Danny anything about Hayes and Pudding. I have no intention of announcing Hayes and whatever they're called, their result, because I don't know it. Simple as. There you go. Down into so like I say, that was Kings Langley. Well done to them. Into the Southern League now, and Berkhamsted Town. They're on an absolute mission at the minute. They're flying out the blocks. Tell you what, they're flying. They won 3-0 away at Didcot Town yesterday. A great result for them. So big well done to them, and they're back in action on Tuesday night as well against, I think it's Marlow Town in the Bill-based FA Vars Trophy. I think that's another qualifying round, so stay tuned for that. Now down into the Spartan South Midlands League, there's a few of our local teams. We do like our local teams. Oxley Jets had a nice battle with Tring yesterday. They come out 2-1 winners. Fantastic for them, unlucky for Tring. Leighton Town kept up their impressive start. They won 1-0 at home to Leverstock Green. Harpenden Town shared a 9-goal thriller with Dunstable Town yesterday. Unfortunately, though, Harpenden lost by 5-4. 9-goal thriller. Love it. We do love thrillers. Potton United, they drew 1-1 with Colney Heath. Yep, and that was the last one. And also, I know Woody is going to be desperate for this one. I do have the result of the weekend. It is in the Isterman South Central. You might remember that league from before lockdown. It has our favourite team in it, South Park. But it was a bad day. And it pains me to say it was a very bad day, because I think Cartman must have been on the naughty step. Kenny got killed, probably. And, basically, the team didn't turn up because they lost 4-1 at home to Ware United. So that now leaves South Park in 16th place in the table on 5 points after 6 games. And they are back in action on Tuesday night as well. So hopefully fortunes might turn for them then. Comprehensive roundup there. There is another game I know about this week. Tuesday night, if you're at a loose end, Kings Langley Football Club, they are back home again. They are back at home now after being out on the road for the last couple of games. They play on Tuesday night. If you want to go, now you need to listen to this, because it's a new type of thing with all the COVID stuff. You need to go and purchase a ticket in advance by going to a certain website. Now, if you've got Twitter, look up Kings Langley on there, because it's got all the details there. Certainly worth checking out. And like I say, at the moment, it's one local team you can get in to watch a non-league game in. So it's certainly worth checking out. I may even make a surprise visit down there myself Tuesday night, if I feel up to it or not. Who knows? Place your bets. On to the women, or the ladies, as we always say. Unfortunately, today, no game for either the first team or the under-23s. They've all had the weekend off. Watford women were meant to play Cardiff City women away today, but that was called off due to international call-ups. And the under-23s were meant to play away at London Bees, but that was called off because London Bees got drawn into a county cup match, so that took priority over the league. So they all put their feet up for the weekend, and they all go again next Sunday. And next Sunday as well, you want to be down at Kings Langley Football Club for a 3:00 kickoff because the Watford women are back in action. They host Plymouth Argyle. Now, I want you to cast your minds back. Go back to December last year when everything was fine and it was all good. Because the last time Watford played Plymouth, it got a little bit entertaining. And you wonder why. Well, basically, I read a result out earlier that represented that one. And it was literally Watford winning 5-4 at Plymouth. And it was a great day out. It was a great result. So if you want to bring the kids down next weekend, bring them down. It would be great to see you. I'll be there myself. Kick off at 3 p.m. £7 for adults. I think it's a couple of quid for children. I don't know if there's a concession rate this year. That's one thing I don't actually know about. But yeah, if you are at a loose end, bring the kids down, afternoon out. There's plenty of stuff going on down there. Refreshments, a bar. Not where you normally find me, because I'm normally watching the game. I would like to clarify. I knew you'd laugh at that one, Pidge. I don't know why.
I haven't got a clue why.
Yeah, I can't be but yeah, no, like I say, it'd be great to see the girls looking to get back to winning ways as well after 2 games without a win. And also, just one more thing before I sign off for the evening, I'd like to wish Watford women's skipper Helen Ward all the best on Tuesday night as her and her Welsh teammates face off against Norway, where I've read tonight a win or a draw will guarantee them a playoff place in the hope that they qualify for the first time ever for Euro 2022 in the women's bit. So, Helen and the girls, good luck to you. And hopefully you girls get the job done and you can qualify. So,
definitely.
And then she'll be back in action probably on Sunday afternoon. All being well, hopefully. All being well.
Well done, Moose. Right, just a shout out to the young man Dino who's having a rest. And also, before, I know Callie's going to be watching this and wondering why. Yes, I've definitely still got your wig, mate. So I will give you this back, Callie, when I can. So I'll let him know. Yeah, Ray borrowed it for the week and's given it back to me. So it's lovely and flat. So I will watch it for you, Callie. I promise. But just big shout out once again to Gerry Armstrong, fantastic fella, absolute gentleman of the game, coming on once again, this time live. So Gerry, and obviously big shout out to his Mrs. Deborah as well. Thank you ever so much for the just the banner and everything, and when you came on and setting it up and everything like that, absolutely fantastic. Just one, and also we will see you. Just a little cheeky plug once again. We will see you hopefully Tuesday night after the game for the full-time fan report. So hopefully myself and Ray will join you then. So timing and everything will come out once again around tomorrow night. So look out for that. Also, obviously, we're looking at the games coming up on the Friday night. TMA Friday night live with myself and the young man, and also back on the following Sunday. But yeah, so thank you ever so much, everyone. We've got a couple more comments just flooding through as well. No, says Woody. The club have poppies in the shop, so that's a cheeky plug from Gavin Marn himself. And great show, guys. Is Moobs happy? So let's finish on that, mate. So firstly, Moobs, thank you ever so much. Ray, absolutely amazing, mate. Once again, triple shift you've done for us this week. You and Moobs and Dino and everyone have been absolutely amazing to help me out. So once again, as always, thank you very much, guys. But like Woody says, it's a fantastic show. You've made it fantastic, guys. Yeah, cheers, Ray. Thank you. But Moobs, are you happy? That is the point, Moobs. Are you happy, mate?
No, I'm not. Not happy. You can see by the look on my face, I'm not happy. I've had to stay in all day.
It's
And
the,
just to
it's the
clarify,
whiskers on his chin. It's the whiskers on his chin.
it is badly. I ain't shaved for 8 days.
Just in that lampshade as well, Moves.
Yeah, lampshade.
Can't do anything with it.
Nice, mate.
Literally, can't do anything with it.
Right,
It's
I'll do
stayed.
something about it.
Want to replace it,
Beam
but
us up
there's
for
nothing
you.
to replace it with. So we can't.
Another lampshade.
Can't find one.
Beam us up
well,
for you.
that's it. That's it, definitely. Right, okay, guys. So we'll see you Tuesday night around 10 o'clock for the full-time fan report. As always, just visit Sweets for All, Lord Sereno, King Morpheus, for your sweet desires. Quick, fast, and friendly delivery from the guys at Sweets for All, or shall we say, just Seren. Fantastic in his community, and also. So I'll shout this out for a little cheeky ladies plug as well. He does the man of the matches for the women's team as well, doesn't he, Moobs?
Yes, I do. Yes. Yes, you
Yeah,
don't know.
I think he does.
About surrender. Yes, he does do his
Yeah, Lord
sweet
Sereno.
jar. Yes, Lord Sereno K. Morpheus does do his annual sweet jar for a player of the match every Watford women's game. So always worth coming down and checking that out as well. That's an extra reason.
So you're like, did you
Might
say
be able to
annual?
link them all.
It's yearly. Is it annual? He does it once a year.
It's really
Brilliant. Yeah, I do the same, mate. I say annual when I really mean weekly. But
Bloody hell. Weekly
nice
is
Magic Roundabout one. Yeah, Magic Roundabout. Yeah.
nice magic.
Woody,
What's that about?
Woody, it's time for Trumpton.
I reckon he's lost in Hamilton Centre.
I reckon hang on, this is quite dangerous actually. So if he's going around the Magic Roundabout, why is he texting on the phone? Can we just say, please, people, this podcast does not encourage people to text while they're driving. So I think Woody's like, I'll tell you what, his grammar is actually much better when he's driving. So is that a good thing or bad thing? I really don't know.
It could be both.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit shocking, mate. I mean, he's probably going. I mean, it's up. You know more than me, Murray Walker. Does he? Does he really go that quick in a car?
Murray Walker from the chicane for the last time here at the TMA forecast. Here we go, and it's the man on the left-hand side. His name is Moobsy, and he's going round the chicane for the last time.
God, oh my God! Right. I'll tell you what, we just if we get a Murray Walker impression on Tuesday, we'll just basically dedicate the whole full-time fan report to that. I'll tell you. Right, we've got to go, but thank you, absolutely every single person out there. You have been absolutely amazing. Once again, throw out the thanks to Moobdeanio and Sir Ray. You guys have been amazing. Gerry Armstrong, as always. But like we say, as always, you've been beautiful. We've been TMA. It's good night from Ray.
And it's a good night from Moobs.
Yeah, it's good night from Pidge.
Okay, see you later, guys. Guys, thank you.